in Islam, this is not allowed. This is forbidden.
Hmm.
If you do this, if you actually partake in this, if you consider yourself gay and a queer, but then you say you're Muslim, well, no, you're not Muslim because that takes you out of the fold of Islam. It
Hmm.
takes you out of the
Hmm.
fold of the religion, and Allah knows best.
Assalamu alaikum. Being in Canada with Rami and going to post-secondary education, we've learned one thing that these kuffar institutions, they don't hold back. They have no remorse when it comes to promoting their postmodern, liberal, feminist, LGBT agenda, bro. They don't hold back whatsoever. And Western University is no exception. A few days ago, what they did was they posted a picture of LGBT Awareness Day, Alphabet Gang Awareness Day, and they posted a picture of two hijabis engaging in an act. Now, we as Muslims, we don't support this. Them as non-Muslims, they cannot tell us what we can and cannot support. This is up to us, and not even our whims and desires. This is based on Quran and Sunnah. And what happened was because of the heat and the backlash, right? Andrew Tate talks about this a lot. He says you can mess with the Christians, you can mess with the Jews, but you better not mess with the Muslims. And because of the backlash and heat that they got, they didn't take the video down, but they posted this. They said that this post was not religious or theological in content and was internally vetted by a cross campus group which has Muslim representation, meaning queers that are Muslim, which doesn't even make sense. And then they wrote, we understand that the imagery might be upsetting for some Muslims, but we also acknowledge the queer Muslim community does not get represented. Okay, because you can't represent something that doesn't exist. Next, they wrote, therefore, this post will continue to be live on our channels. As the conversations in the comments are no longer about recognizing LGBT identity, actually, I just said that what they wrote was 2S LGBTQ plus identity. We have turned off comments to avoid any further impacts on the community. What a wuss move, but sure. This post was not religious. Nah, you can't say that putting hijabis, but there's an update. So there has been an image that they posted, which I talked about. They removed it, but there's been no official apology, and they deliberately targeted Islam and Muslims, and it's going to continue with their future posts, as they've already mentioned. There has been a change.org petition, right? So with the petition, there's about 35,000 people that have posted the petition. There is a PSG soccer player named Idrissa, by the way. This is I promise this is relevant, but because he plays for PSG, a major soccer team, PSG wanted to have this rainbow uniform kit for their players, and he said he doesn't want this because not only as an African or as a Muslim, this goes against his values as an individual, and he said he doesn't want it. Now, what happened was he mentioned he didn't want it. PSG gave him a lot of heat, and then there was a hashtag started saying hashtag we are all Idrissa or something. Basically, people standing in solidarity for him. And this didn't become like the top 10 trending hashtag or anything, or like the number one in Africa or in soccer or anything. This became the number one most trending hashtag worldwide on Twitter, meaning most people in the world actually don't want this, bro. We don't want this sickness. We don't want this garbage. We don't really want it, but people just don't say anything because they think everyone else is not going to say something. But that's the reality, bro. And this is what Western University and all Canadian institutions are doing today.
SubhanAllah. It's the equivalent of someone being like, "I'm not racist. I have black friends," with them saying that there's Muslims on their board that allowed
Mm.
this. Do a poll of all the Muslims just in Canada of who would be for and against this, and then you could talk about what you're going to represent in regards to Muslims in Canada, in Toronto, in Ontario. Then you could talk about it, not the two Muslim majority people you have on your board of 8 people total. Okay, relax. And it's I don't see them putting a cross, two people wearing crosses kissing, or two Jewish people who are visibly Jewish kissing, or two Hindus who are visibly Hindu kissing, or something like that. Um, where is that representation? And also, when you're talking about Muslim representation, you don't have a lot of Muslim representation anywhere in any regard. What, the Miss Marvel movie apparently quotes the Quran, that's Muslim representation, while the woman's not wearing a hijab. See, you guys can't commit these kind of fallacies where you only promote something that you want to promote and claim it's a part of XYZ. You cannot come and promote something that is not allowed in Islam to be inclusive. Because when you look at Islam, it's very, very clear what it stands for and what it doesn't stand for. Correct? Sah? Like,
saying that queer Muslims don't get represented, that's like saying vegan carnivores don't get represented, bro. There's no such thing. It's an oxymoronic statement. At the end of the day, you're either Muslim or you are, and I'm not gonna make takfir because that's not on me, but based on Quran and Sunnah, bro, you're not a Muslim if you're a sodomite. You're not a Muslim if you're proud of committing sodomy and you're proud of being homosexual and you're promoting this and you're pushing this ideology into the masses and you're corrupting society, bro. You're not a Muslim.
yeah, yeah, and that is true. That is true. Now, having being a man being attracted to a man or a woman being attracted to a woman is not the issue at hand, right? That's not what we're speaking about. What we are speaking about is a clear theological and moral view that Muslims have that's clear in the Quran and clear in the Hadith from the tongue of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that prohibits engaging in this act. And on top of engaging in the act, it also prohibits boasting about, praising, or uplifting any act that is deemed haram. Now, this, some scholars wouldn't really differentiate it from zina or other immoral sexual acts, bestiality, anything that, even anal sex in some cases, right? So we're not here to go above and beyond and target any group of people. But the problem is you guys are going above and beyond and targeting us, targeting our religion. You don't need to put two hijabis kissing. You don't. Why did you do that? I honestly would say that the two Muslims, whatever that you have on this board, are angry that majority of Muslims know their religion, and since they want to change Islam to fit what they view and what a small subsect of people in the West who claim to be Muslim, have in terms of their views, they want to change that. So that's their way of doing it. That's their voice. Now, if you look at the percentage of Muslims that live, that are alive in the world, and the percentage of people in the LGBTQ community, you would find that there are significantly more Muslims who are significantly underrepresented, as opposed to the small percentage of people who are LGBTQ who are overrepresented in the West. And you have Muslims who, are being killed worldwide, who are being disregarded as not even human beings because of their belief, because of their religion. And even in the West, what you want to do is still strip us of our belief, of our religion, and try and basically indoctrinate us and our children in the school systems with what you believe and call that Islam.
We're gonna have someone in the comments saying Anghels wearing a rainbow pride hoodie, bro. But I promise he's not. He's just North Carolina, guys. Get your head out the gutter. But I wanted to say what Rami's saying is true, is facts. And what Anghel said is facts too. With his hoodie. No, I'm just playing, bro. What Rami says is facts, and here's why. At the end of the day, mainstream Orthodox Muslims are the most group or the most misrepresented group there is out not even out of Muslims, but in the media, bro. Any group, any demographic of the Muslims in the media right now, Muslims are mainstream Muslims, Orthodox Muslims are the ones most often misrepresented, not alphabet gang people from anything. If you're gay, if you're bi, if you're lesbian, if you're whatever, and you're from anything, you're gonna be promoted, you're gonna be protected, you're gonna be a cherished community. Like you can't support yourself, and they're gonna create allies. So it's like the feminists need LGBT, the LGBT need feminists, and they all become this one thing with the liberals, and it's like they all got each other's backs. So at the end of the day, if you're Muslim and you're watching this, if you're Christian and you're watching this, if you're Jewish and you're watching this, if you're atheist and you're watching this, which you shouldn't be because you need some morals. All right, it's about time. And you don't like this, you don't support this, you don't like corrupting the children, the hearts and minds of the youth, then stand up for this. We have to stand up together. I don't care what religion you're from watching this. If you're a parent, if you're not a parent, this must end. This has gone way too far. And being in university, I'm trying to learn medicine, bro. I'm trying to learn what I'm studying. I'm not trying to learn this gay stuff. And here's the thing: is it real? Of course, it's been real since the people of Lut alayhi salam, bro. It's been talked about in the Quran. This is not. I'm not gonna negate the validity of how authentic or legitimate this is. I'm not gonna do that. But we can't be out here saying this is the most important thing that we need to tackle right now. This is not, gay rights is not the most important thing, bro. People are dying, people are getting bombed. Why are we not talking about this, but we're talking about the two gay Muslims in a campus who think they're Muslim, but I don't think they are if they're gay and they're openly about it, that they're getting misrepresented and they're not promoted. What does misrepresentation even mean? It
Yeah.
just means people don't like it. But oftentimes people don't like something, it's for a reason.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in here and ask one question to, Western University, its board members, and people who decided this is okay. What gives you the right to represent one group of people by misrepresenting another? Let's say you want to represent people who are queer, who are part of LGBTQ, who claim to be Muslim. But in order to do that, you need to misrepresent the 99.9% of Muslims who don't even, not only are they not part of the community, but they know it goes against their religion. You misrepresent them, but trying to say it's a part of the religion, it's okay. You didn't say that, but you showed it clearly in that picture when you have the two hijabis that look like they're about to kiss. If you think that this is something that you can just put up and not care about, and the Muslims are not going to get upset and expect an apology, and yes, we do expect an apology, an official retraction, because what you are doing is not promoting LGBTQ. What you are doing is attacking Muslims. You're attacking our religion. You're attacking our beliefs. And on top of that, you're showing you don't care what we believe. You don't care for our opinions. You don't care what we think. And that is the atrocity. And that's what we're upset about.
And before Anna goes on, I just want to mention once again, if y'all made it this far, comment down below, hashtag gay hoodie. No, I'm just playing, bro. I'm gonna stop attacking that hoodie. But guys, if you made it this far, actually comment down below, hashtag you know what? I don't care what you hashtag, bro. Just share this video, like this video, because the algorithm's already gonna try to stop it. But watch episode 3 of our podcast. I know it's a throwback podcast, but we really dissected the whole alphabet thing from medical and scientific literature perspective. It was all academic. It was not just us being misogynistic or homophobic or transphobic or all of these shaming tactics that they use. It was a legit academic dissection. So please watch that. Don't miss that. On bro, what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, how are they going to say that this is not, the post had nothing to do with religion or the theology or anything like that, but that they consulted the Muslim queers. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but they consulted with the Muslim queers, and they said, "Oh, there was nothing offensive here." Listen, if it had nothing to do with religion, and it had nothing to do with the theology aspect, there would have been no reason to have this be revised by Muslims. Is this or is this not correct?
And that's true, bro.
All right. So that's point number 1. And then point number 2, listen, if y'all, and this, I'm genuinely speaking here, if you guys are saying that you have this group of Muslims who are queer, they're gay, and they've looked at this and they said there's nothing wrong with it, look, I invite you to, do some research. If this is a university, like y'all are all about research, so I invite you to do some research over Islam, over the religion, just so you can see for yourself that, what Brother Rami here said about God saying it in the book, in the Quran, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, saying it in the Hadith, to basically not perform these acts, and that you shouldn't be boastful, nor should you support or promote any of this stuff, right? Like, this is not to be taken lightly. This is what Islam is. It's a part of Islam. It's integral to Islam. So if you have a Muslim, can they be gay? Well, no and yes. And by no, it's like, okay, no, they can't really be gay because it's just something that they're struggling with in their head. But yes, in the sense that, okay, they're struggling with it in their head. I think I might have,
No, I know
switched
what you
that
mean.
up.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
You're
no,
saying
but
they can exist.
exactly. People can have this issue in their head, but that doesn't mean that this is what they are, right? Just like if you are depressed, it doesn't mean that like you are your depression. It means that you're just experiencing your
It's like,
depression, or
can I be a
you're
Muslim
experiencing.
alcoholic? Yes, I can. But should I? No.
Yeah. So the whole point I'm trying to get at is that in Islam, this is not allowed. This is forbidden. If you do this, if you actually partake in this, if you consider yourself gay and a queer, but then you say you're Muslim, well, no, you're not Muslim because that takes you out of the fold of Islam. That
Mhm.
takes you out of the
Mhm.
fold of the religion, and Allah knows best.
Yeah, bro, and that's facts because at the end of the day, we're not qualified to make takfir. That's not what we're doing. But what we're saying is, if you read Surah Al-Baqarah in the Quran, Allah makes it very clear that the disbelievers are those who corrupt the hearts and minds of the people in society. And if you're out here gay and no one knows you're gay, then I don't really give a damn. But if you're out here coming out like these queers often do, and you're out here proclaiming to the world you're gay, you're out here proclaiming that queer Muslims should be acknowledged and promoted in society, then you are kind of corrupting society. At that problem, it's no longer an individual issue, it's a societal and community issue, right? And at that point, you are the disbelievers that Allah's talking about in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, and many other places about corrupting the youth and leading others astray and misguiding others. You're the epitome of that.
Yeah, like just to I just kind of want to add to that topic there quickly. We live in the West, right? They have their own belief, they have their own laws, they have their own whatever. It is what it is, right? If they want to preach this, practice this, whatever, we're not for it. Whatever, do what you will. We're not going to support it. The issue is when you firstly claim to be all inclusive to different religions and different people and different beliefs. If that is true, for example, why don't we have Sharia courts? Because Sharia is a part of Islam, right? You actually don't have Islam if you don't have Sharia. You don't have Islam anymore. Because Islam is full submission to God and only God can make laws and judgment and so on and so forth. So we don't have Sharia courts. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Now you're telling us we can't even have our own views as Muslims morally. So what do we have? What do we have? If the LGBTQ community decides that, prayer, the 5 daily prayers that Muslims do is offensive to us, are you going to come after our prayer now? If they say, the men having beards and women wear hijab is offensive to us, I want it to be the other way around. Are you
Mm,
not going to come at us for our beards and our, hijabs and all of that? The problem is, where do you draw the line? Where does that end? For people who claim to be all inclusive and allow different religions, different beliefs, and Canada is such an amazing place, we welcome everyone and so on and so forth. Why don't you allow us to just live how we live? Why don't you allow us to preach what we preach? Why don't you allow us to believe what we believe? Because if I were to go to if I went to Western University and I stood on like some pulpit and I said, we as Muslims believe homosexuality, the act of it is a sin, I would most likely, in all honesty, be kicked off the campus. And if they allow me to return, if I say anything about my religion or whatever, they'd probably expel me from school. And this is the truth
mm,
for everywhere. Now, let's say that you had Muslims who weren't queer that said, yeah, it's okay, it's not a big deal. Either they're not practicing, or they're ignorant, or maybe even they're scared that if they say it is offensive, that you're going to kick them out from school. Because you, just like every other university, have made it extraordinarily clear that if
mm,
we don't have, and this is honestly almost fear mongering, if we don't have the political views that you need us to have, you will kick us out from your schools and take our money. And now that is something you need to consider when doing these evaluations and so on and so forth. Ask someone who has nothing to lose, who's practicing Muslim, who's knowledgeable on Islam, and they'll tell you very clearly what Islam says
mm.
about it.
Bro, I agree, and I think this stems deeper into a topic of forced diversity in the media and in society and in schools, and we should make an episode on this. Inshallah, let us know in the comments, guys, if you want that. What is forced diversity? It's basically when you take sexual or ethnic or orientation or whatever minority, cultural minority, anyone, and you basically force the diversity to basically show normalcy in them being mainstream in the media. And it's kind of disrespectful, bro, if you think about it. It's kind of like because Western law has oppressed women, right? Now they must force and show powerful masculine women oppressing men in society, just to kind of apologize in a way without really apologizing, because that's not really doing anything. Or because African Americans have been literally enslaved and lynched by these whites that run these institutions back then. Now we must force and show more African Americans on screen and mainly make movies and kind of show that in a way where it's like we're apologizing for misrepresenting them and oppressing them in the past, where it's like, who are you fooling, bro? That's not really going to do anything. Now, I'm not against black representation or female representation in movies. That's not my point. My point is, you're not going to make things right just by making mistakes and then trying to like just go the other way to another extreme. Come back to Islam. fear God, fear Allah, and understand that it's better to not make mistakes in the first place than do damage control and now try to, corrupt society even more in the other extreme. I'm going to say this once before we wrap this up. We as Muslims do not and will not ever support the LGBTQ agenda, and we don't want this sickness in the universities. We don't want this in society. We don't want queer Muslims to be overrepresented or even represented because they don't exist. They're not Muslims. So stop trying to corrupt and propagate this stupid propaganda into everyone and then getting mad when we don't want this. We as Muslims do not and will not ever support the LGBTQ agenda, and we don't want this sickness in the universities. We don't want this in society. We don't want queer Muslims to be overrepresented or even represented because they don't exist. They're not Muslims. So stop trying to corrupt and propagate this stupid propaganda into everyone and then getting mad when we don't want this.